Right, for Tas Racing with the Tasmanian Pacing Cup on this Sunday night, about 9 o'clock, I reckon, Steve Devereux, roughly there. We're up to be catching up with Heath Woods, who's got plenty to tell me, and as right on cue, the horse walks out of the ground. But firstly, you've got Shallows going round in this year's Cup. Must be a great thrill to be back in the race.
Yeah, no, he's had a few runs at it, but I'm enjoying. It'd be good to see how he goes. He's probably had 3 or 4 cracks at it, and won it the first time he had a crack at it. So we're off 20 metres this year, which will make it a bit more difficult.
How does the standing start? How does he fare with the standing starts, or just actually across the road? And that's one of their biggest concerns is the stand.
No, like a rocket away from the stand. Yeah,
got to make it
very reliable.
Got to make it a little bit more appealing.
Yeah, very reliable. But there's 7 horses off 10 metres. He's off 20. He's got to hope everything gets away in front of you. Okay. Yep.
Group 1 event, time-honoured race. Must mean a bit to win it. Must mean a lot just to even be a part of it.
Oh yeah, certainly. When I was younger and that, I had a few horses, and you were just happy to have a horse racing at the same meeting as the championships were on. But and then to have one good enough to go around in these races, it's certainly a thrill.
Yeah, I would imagine as a local, and you're a small racing community, so I think everyone would like to be in it. It's actually quite interesting. Your track's just here. Mickey O's trained across the road, so good thrill for you both. You share the track, and good thrill for you both to be going around in it on Saturday night.
Yeah, quite unique that small community like this and neighbours, and we've both got a couple of horses in a major race that were a rough show in it.
Yeah, friendly rivalry. Do you go across there for a beer afterwards, or do you not talk to each other? How does it work?
Well, I'm a teetotaler, so I don't have a beer.
Oh, you and me both. Look at us go. Look at us go.
But I know we have a chat. Yeah, you crawl over there and have a chat at times, and he calls over here and has a chat at times, and have a chat at the races. Yeah, Yep.
Right, you haven't got a funny story. You've got a story to tell, a bit about your journey, because you stepped away from the game for a little while, and you've been back for a little while as well. But how did you start in harness racing?
First started a fella called Phil Lovell, who used to have a couple of paces of his own. I got to know him through my riding pony, and he used to come and shoe it for me, and we went out to have a look at the races because he had a few horses going around. And then one day he plonked me behind one, and in the cart, and said, "Away you go and have a jog round the showgrounds there." And I just took to it straight away. Then I started working on the barriers on the track. Did that for 3 or 4 years. Then bought a brood mare off Eric Fleming, late Eric Fleming, who was a prominent breeder in the state. Bred a foal. Eventually got it going, got it to the races. And 4 or 5 starts he won his first, he won, and won a few more for me. Yeah, and that sort of started me off. Yeah. And
you just fell in love with it after that. You said there you're riding pony, and I noticed there's a menage up the top, so you do a little bit of riding, or you may not now, but you did over the journey? No,
that was, at one stage the wife was doing a bit of dressage work and that sort of thing, but we just do a bit of, I only got back into it the last couple of years. We do a bit of, go down the beach for the week, take a riding pony down, to the beach for the weekend, and on Saturday afternoon or something, spend a couple of hours down there. But
before you stepped away, how much success did you have?
Yeah, okay, but I didn't have the class of horse that I've got at the moment. But we used to, have this sort of average bread and butter horses that sort of, didn't win any feature races, but won some, little heat and final races and things like that. But and mainly older horses, and mainly horses that were, discards from other stables and that sort of thing. But we did a reasonable job with them, yeah.
You said you stepped away, and we were talking just prior, and I wanted to make sure, sometimes there's reasons why you do, but effectively you ran out of horses. And is that one of the reasons why? Because you were, I suppose, different horses, you're trying to get older horses, and horses as these flies come in again, like older horses, is that why you, I suppose, ran out of horses there for a while?
Had bred one, and it took her a while to get her going, and she's the mother actually of Custom Harley, and didn't race till she was 4, and only had 10 starts, won 3, and looked like promising, and then sort of fell by the wayside, went sore, and at the time that was the only horse I was working, and I was starting to get interested in a few other things, I was doing a bit of fitness work at the time, triathlons and fun runs, and I just thought, take a break. My son used to help me when he was younger, and by that time he'd gone off to work and that sort of thing, so we just sort of, I suppose it just sort of petered out a little bit.
Yeah. You obviously don't regret it though? Like, you come back with great success this year, and we'll touch on that at the end, but do you regret it, or like, are you glad you stepped away for a while? Yeah,
I think it probably refreshed and gave me, even like I say, delved into like triathlons and cycling and that sort of stuff, and it probably gave me a different point of view of athletes.
Yep.
There was times when I used to do the Mare run around Brighton area, and I used to see people working horses and that up and down the road and that sort of thing, and going to the track, and just think, I wouldn't mind getting another one, but I never really sort of thought about it until my son suggested we get one, yeah.
So which was a horse you got back? Did you go back to the breeding barn, was it, with that first horse?
No, well actually my son said, we ought to get one, and he had a change in workplace, and he was sort of had a bit of time in the afternoons and that, and he said, so we kept an eye out for one. We weren't in a great hurry, and then we won advertising unbroken 2-year-old, and when we looked through the family, it had a few winners in the family on the dam side, unfashionable sire, and we thought, when he rang a fella up, and he said, he was just in the paddock. He said his other yearlings had gone to the breaker, and he'd had some infection when he was gelded, and so he said he's just sitting in the paddock. So we said, send us a photo of him. With, he looks all right. I said, and he was only very cheap, and we thought, he's just worth the punt. We might just have a crack at it.
Is that Shallows?
Yeah.
What a great... So you owe it all to your son?
Yeah, one of those stories, yeah.
Just a freak opportunity, and I suppose he wasn't left behind for no reason other than just the way sliding door moments, if you like.
It's just one of those things that... the breeder Ian Stanley, he breeding horses every year, and by the time the next lot of yearlings was going off to the breaker, and he still had the 2-year-old sitting there in the paddock, and he thought, need to cut back, and thought, that's the one that's got to go.
He'd be wrapped for you though, I would imagine too. There'd be no hard feelings from his point of view. No, and he's bred some nice horses over the years. Yeah, and continues to. He bred one the other day. I think I was in Mount Gambier. I reckon he bred one over there. He breeds them everywhere.
And I think there's he sold another horse to Tasmania. I can't think of the name for it right now, but that did a good job for the owner down here. So
that's a cool story. So how much has he won for you?
I think he's won. I'm not sure exactly. It'd be over 300,000.
Great little story, isn't it?
Yeah. It's one of those stories that you hear about, but you think, are those stories real or not? But it was one of those stories that, very cheap purchase. Worked out for us, And
the pair of you are having a similar sort of career path as well, if you like. In a minute, we'll touch on that. Has he ever been Horse of the Year, though? Like, I know he has been the Beautide, and we'll touch on that in a minute, but has he been Horse of the Year?
Yeah, no, he did win Horse, I'm pretty sure it might have been 2021 Horse of the Year. Yeah.
So he's giving you a great ride then?
Oh, yeah. No, he won I think he was 4-year-old and older, and Horse of the Year 2021. Oh, yeah. He's just been... and we had a bit of trouble breaking him in. He was a bit wild because he really probably hadn't been handled, but he could always run a bit, but he just enjoys it and enjoys the racing, and when he's not racing, he stands in the paddock or he's lying down to sleep. He doesn't stress himself out doing anything else. Yeah.
Well, he was behind us before, but he's actually walked off. You've had a cracking year, and I'll get this wrong, but you won 3-year-old of the year. Just recently, 2 weeks ago, last weekend. You won 4-year-old Mare of the Year, and you also won the Beautide award, which is an award that you share with Shallows.
Yeah, the Shallows. I'm pretty sure. I think might have been the year after he won Horse of the Year. I'm not sure, but a few years back he did win the Beautide medal. Yeah.
How many horses are you working?
Usually work about 4. Yeah.
So 4-year-old Mare of the Year, 3-year-old of the year. You've won the Beautide. You've got a horse going around in the Tassie Cup this weekend. Do you pinch yourself?
Oh, yeah. I mean, sometimes you think, oh, gee, it's like I said, I was happy to have horse racing at the same meeting as the big races going back a few years. And I've been lucky enough, we've got 3 horses at the moment that are competitive. You know, they're getting down in grade, but they're still competitive.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just think, oh, you know, it's surreal, really. Yeah.
How many are you taking? You're only taking shallows in Saturday night?
Yes.
I wasn't sure if the others were going in. I was going to say, well, you're going to be...
No, I got a trial to 2-year-old Monday night, and he went well at the trials.
Better give us a name.
Oh, yeah, Barbershop.
Oh, by Leather Up. I saw that, actually.
Yeah. He's a half-brother to Custom Harley.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he goes nice. Yeah.
Great. It's a great name too. And go through Leather Up. Anyone wants to go through some great names? There's some brilliant names in his family. But you've stuck with that. So, so you've got him.
Yeah. So, he we probably trial him again. Custom Harley's just come back into work, and he'll be looking, I suppose, towards the Raider Stakes, the 4-year-old size stakes, which is in July.
Yep.
And the Shallows and Stepping Stones, she's just having a short break. She'll be back in work sort of next week. Yeah.
So you left the game, and I'm hopefully not going to be rude, but moderate trainer with moderate horses. Mm. Do you put a lot of that back to your success now, the fact that you go away, you do triathlons? I've done 2. No, I've done 1. Sorry, I tell a lie. I've done 1. It was only a half one, like it wasn't a full-blown thing. Yeah. Realise how hard they actually they are, and how fit you have to be, but also how mental you have to be. Do you attribute that to your horse training, and how your horse training has actually changed and evolved, or is it just the fact that you've changed your mindset on the horses that you I suppose try and get?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've just been incredibly lucky that we've lobbed some nice horses. But there is a bit of the cycling in particular, but the triathlons and that. There's I know what it feels like to be on the back of something and flat out and trying to keep up.
Yep.
And just little things. We probably don't work. I'll work a little bit differently than what I used to. Probably not as hard on them. Yeah, but probably when I was younger, I was probably. Sort of thought you had to keep testing them. But I mean, they still do plenty of strong work. Yep. Yeah.
It's quite an interesting thing. Like Clayton Tonkin, a lot of people recognise he did that. He went through this massive fitness stage, and he reckoned it helped his training because he's horse training, because he started thinking about himself with your nutrition, your mindset, your conditions, and so many other things there to look at.
Oh yeah, I mean, like I say, and I spoke to people in the past, footballers and that sort of thing, where they say you can do it, you do all the training and everything seems perfect, and then you can run out on the ground and your legs feel like lead, And I mean, sometimes horses, no doubt, do that too. They just don't go how you think they're going to go, but a fortnight later, you still do we've done it we've been times we've had horses didn't go like we thought they should, but we didn't change anything. And then a fortnight later, they go how you think they should go. Yep. And it's just, nothing's different. It's just that they've had a bad night,
How'd you go at the triathlons?
Yeah, all right, sort of a midfielder. Yeah.
Never had a win? Not an age win?
An age, I think I was at an age group win, but, not a superstar, but it was good to be involved in it, and the bike. I did a bit of bike racing, and it's funny how sometimes you drive places and it's where you've done bike races and you remember what it was like going up that hill, and remembering feeling bottomed out, and
it's actually quite a funny thing. Again, like I said, I have done them. You can run and be tired. And continue on, you just slow down. But when you hit a wall on a bike, it is brutal, and that's what I was wondering with yourself with the horse training, to understand that sometimes there is nothing left, and there's nothing you can do about it.
No, that's right, and when you hit the wall, and trying to hang on with the bike racing is probably similarities to races, where And even things in like races where you're accelerating in races and that, and I know from bike racing, it does take it out. It does take it out of you.
Okay, so you may not have changed your training that much, although a little bit. But do you assess your horses maybe after races a little bit differently? Because what you're saying then, like if there is a zap of speed in a certain race and they might not be, do you find that you assess it differently?
Oh yeah, when you get into when you get into the harder grades, every metre matters.
Yeah.
Like you pull off the back of another horse and that horse probably gives it kick and you lose 2 metres and then you've lost the back of it, or you just need another horse gets out underneath you and pushes you wider. You can say, well, if I'd have stayed on the back of that horse and followed it, I don't get pushed out. But yeah, and it's interesting. My son Aaron's very analytical. He was more serious in the cycling than I was, and we've worked it out on the tracks. How much extra ground you cover when you're 3 deep, or how much extra ground you cover, off the fence, and
cover and no cover, and the difference that makes as well.
There's no risk about it. Yeah. And just, the things probably notice, accelerating in races, like when races that are stop-start races, take a lot more out of horses than what people realise, I think.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I could talk to you all day. I actually enjoyed it, and I like stories, and I love the fact that you're back in the industry, and I think the industry is better for you to be back, especially the quality of horses you got going around. Good luck Saturday night with the shows. I would love to catch up with you again maybe one day soon, so keep up with these awards. But congratulations on last year as well. It's a great achievement from a small team, and I think people probably need to open their eyes a little bit and see what they can do in their own business. Sometimes I think we get caught, like I say, on a hamster wheel, constantly say it, and sometimes a stop and a short circuit of what you're doing can actually reinvigorate you and really change things up a bit. So well done. Good luck on Saturday night.
Yep. Thank you very much, Paul.
Thank you. Thanks, mate.
Yeah.